Welcome to this week's What's for Dinner video. My name is Ashley. I'm going to be showing you 3 different meals I made this past week. I don't always follow recipes exactly, but if you're interested, I've linked some similar recipes down below. The first dinner I'm going to be showing you is one of my favorites, and it's so easy. It's chicken scampi. This is a perfect summer pasta. It's not too heavy, but it has so much flavor and I'm obsessed with it. So first, I'm just starting out with my chicken. I took a large chicken breast that I just sliced in half, and then I also sliced down the middle. That way I have like tenderloin pieces. So I'm just going to lightly season the chicken with some salt, and then I'm going to season the flour as well. I'm going to season that with some onion powder and garlic powder. So I'm just going to mix that all together, make sure it's well combined, and then I'm just going to place the chicken just face down and make sure to coat it real well. So I'm just going to do that for all my chicken pieces. This is just going to add a nice coating. So once those were all done, then I just set aside the chicken, and now to my pan, I'm just going to add a half stick of butter, let that melt down over medium heat, and then I will throw in my chicken. So I'm going to use butter for this because this is going to give that coating on the chicken some really good flavor, and then the leftover butter I will use for the sauce. So once that one side was nice and brown, I just went ahead and flipped it. Because these are such thin pieces of chicken, you want to make sure to not overcook the chicken. So once these were all done and cooked through, I just went ahead and removed them to a clean plate. So next I'm going to use the leftover butter for the sauce. So I'm just going to add in a couple tablespoons of some minced garlic, let that cook up. And then next I'm going to add in about half a cup of water, and I'm going to add some chicken bouillon as well. So this is like chicken broth. So I have this set on about medium heat just to cook everything together, and of course I'm going to add in some dried parsley flakes for some color. So I just cooked half a box of thin spaghetti and drained it, and now I'm just going to add it into that buttery sauce and toss everything together. And of course, for some more garnish, I'm just going to add some more parsley flakes. So once everything is well combined, you can definitely start to taste test. I just added a little bit more salt on top, and then this is ready to serve. This is how everything looked when it was done. Definitely so good. One of my favorite meals, and I did just serve this by itself. This next dinner is one of our favorites, specifically my husband's. It is chicken katsu. So first I'm just going to start off with my chicken the same way I always do. I like to use thin pieces of chicken. We both just like thinner cuts of meat. So I'm just going to butterfly that in half and season with some salt, onion powder, and some garlic powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and make sure I do that to both sides. So next, I am being extremely lazy. Instead of using a separate bowl for the flour, I'm just going to throw it on top and rub it in. So once that's all coated, we're going to do the egg to panko breadcrumb coating method. So I'm just going to season my breadcrumbs a little bit with some onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of salt. So first I'm just going to dip the chicken into the egg wash. I just used 2 eggs, make sure it's nice and coated, and then you want to place it into the breadcrumbs and make sure all of that is evenly coated. So then I just went ahead and did that to both chicken cutlets. So before I fried the chicken, I went ahead and created the sauce. So I used some hoisin sauce, soy sauce, this gochujang sauce, and I'm going to add in some honey. One of my favorite things about making Asian dishes is just creating your own sauce. So at the same time, I do have some white rice cooking, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fry the chicken. So I added in some oil, and I have this on about medium high. Just going to place both pieces of chicken down, let these fry until they're nice and brown on the one side. So once they're fully cooked, you want to go ahead and pick them up and let the excess grease and oil drip off. That way it doesn't ruin the coating. And then I just placed it on a drying rack to finish cooling. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just served it with some broccoli on the side. This is one of our favorite dishes. The last dinner I'm going to be showing you is an easy peasy dinner that everyone's made. It is just some ground beef tacos. I do make sure to incorporate these because my husband grew up on these just like everyone else, so he really wants these sometimes. So first I'm just going to go ahead and get my veggies chopped up. So I'm just cutting a little bit of romaine first and then washing it. And next I will chop up some little diced tomatoes. So next for topping, I'm just going to work on some guacamole. So I'm just taking 1 avocado. I'm just going to mash that all up. So I just season this with a little bit of lime juice and some salt. So next we're just going to go ahead and cook up some ground beef. So I just placed, I think it's like 1.5 pounds of ground beef in my pan, and I just have this set on about medium heat. I'm just going to dice it up as best as I can. So I'm just going to finish cooking this until there is no more pink left, and then after I do that, I'm going to drain the excess grease. And then I just like to pat it with a paper towel. This just helps soak up any leftover grease. So next we're going to season the meat. So first I'm just going to add in a little bit of water and all of my favorite Mexican spices. I'm adding in some taco seasoning, cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, and some salt. So this is where you can start taste testing, and I'm just adding whatever else I think it needs. This is how everything looked when it was done. I just topped it with some cheddar cheese, tomatoes, lettuce, and guacamole. Husband definitely approved. Thank you so much for watching this week's What's for Dinner video. Make sure you come back next week for another one.